Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a story for you guys, and this is a story that I read just the other day, and it was a sort of an eye-opener. I think it's a great story that puts things into perspective. The story is about an American businessman who goes to a small coastal fisherman's village in Mexico. And this American businessman, he's standing at the pier of this small coastal fisherman's village, and he notices a small boat come in and dock at the bay. There's one man in there, it's a fisherman. The businessman looks inside the boat and he sees that the boat is filled with some beautiful yellowfin tuna. And he compliments the fisherman. He says, "Those are some beautiful fish." And the fisherman says, "Oh, thank you very much." And he asks him, the businessman asks the fisherman, "How long did it take for you to catch all that fish?" And the fisherman replies, "Not too long. I was out there for a couple hours." So then the businessman, he asks, "Then why didn't you catch more? Why didn't you stay out longer?" And the fisherman replies, "Well, senor, this is more than enough for me to meet my family's immediate needs." So the American businessman, now he's kind of curious. He's like, "Okay, well, what do you do when you're not fishing then?" And the fisherman kind of laughs and he says, "I have quite a busy life. I sleep in late. I play with my children during the day. I take siestas with my wife every afternoon. And then I take a stroll into town and sip on wine and play guitar with my friends." So the American businessman, now he's thinking like, okay, this guy's just lazy. And he says, "Sir, if I may, I have an MBA, and I see a huge potential opportunity for you here." So he continues and he says, "If you spent a little bit more time to catch a few more fish, with the extra proceeds that you make, you could save up for a bigger fishing boat." And he says, after you save up for a bigger fishing boat, you're going to be making more money. And with those extra proceeds, you can invest in even more fishing boats. And you can have a whole fleet of fishing boats and hire people to work under you. And he says, at that point, you'd be making so much money that you wouldn't have to sell to a middleman like how you're doing it now. But you could actually open your own can factory and can this tuna yourself. At that point, you would own all factors of the operation. You would own the fishing, the processing, the packaging, and the distribution. You could sell directly to the consumer. And he said you'd have a full-blown operation at that point. And you'd have to leave this small coastal fisherman village and go move to a bigger city like Mexico City or even New York City to control this operation. That's how rich you'd become. And the fisherman is sitting there and kind of listening, and he says, "Well, how long would that take for me to do all that?" And the businessman says, 15 to 20 years. And the fisherman says, "Well, and then what?" And the businessman says, "Well, at that point, you'd have such a large enterprise making so much money that you could make your company public and launch an IPO. And you can sell off your company for millions and millions of dollars. And you'd be a very rich man. You would never have to work another day in your life." And the Mexican fisherman says, "And then what would I do?" And the American businessman says, the American businessman says, "Well, at that point, you could do whatever you want. You could move to a small coastal fisherman village and fish a little in the day, sleep in late, play with your children, take a siesta with your wife every afternoon, and stroll into town and sip on some wine and play guitar with your friends." And that's the end of the story. So, I love this story because it puts into perspective how, especially in the West, we chase for more and more and more, thinking that chasing for more is the answer to living a better life. And then a lot of the time, that's not the answer. The answer is to know what it is that matters to you in life and what it is that you value. We all make this assumption that if we would become millionaires, all of our problems would be fixed and our lives would be so much better. But the truth is, knowing what you value and knowing what you would spend your ideal day doing is worth way more than millions and millions of dollars. And in that story, the businessman says that, it's going to take you 15 to 20 years to build up this enterprise, and then you're going to sell it for millions and millions of dollars. And he says, and after you do all that, you can go back to your fisherman village and just go back to doing what you were already doing. And he says, you can go back and play with your children. I mean, at that point, 20 years would have passed, and his children would have been full grown, right? And who knows if his wife would still love him after 20 years, because he, was probably, if he were to build up that enterprise, he would be so busy working that he wouldn't give his wife the attention that he's giving her now. And he would probably lose touch with his friends, right? There's nothing more important in life than two things, I would say. It's time spent doing what you love and time spent with the ones you love. I think those two things are priceless. There is no price that you can put on having a day in your life where you're doing what you love and you're doing things and spending time with the people that you love. There's no price tag that you can put on that. I think a lot of people in the West especially get so caught up in this, like, I have to make more money and I have to do more and I have to get more. And they think that that's going to fix all their problems. And actually in the pursuit and in the chase of shiny objects and fast cars and all this shit, they abandon and ditch what matters most to them in life, which is time with their loved ones, time with their family, and time spent doing what they love. And it's this completely backward sort of society that we live in that's very unconscious, where everyone's just chasing shiny things, and no one is actually, I don't want to say no one, but a lot of people are not doing what actually matters at the end of the day. What actually matters to you? And what actually matters to you is I do what I love and I spend time with the people that I love. That's it. If you can accomplish those two things in life, where you have a day-to-day life where you're doing what you love and you're spending time with the people that you love, that's a great life. And you don't need billions of dollars in the bank or millions of dollars in the bank. Unless that's the game that you want to play, that's fine. And there's nothing, I don't want to seem like, it's wrong to make a lot of money. No, it's not. It's a great thing. And from what I've seen, the people that make the most money are typically the ones who look at business as a game and they love to play that game. So I think if you love to play the game of business and and that's what you love to do, then okay, it's great to pursue that game and play that game and make money. But, I found for a lot of other people, like, I see a lot of people just blindly chasing shiny things because they think that that's the answer to living a good life. And I think a lot of people are disappointed when, or are filled with regrets when they have loved ones that pass away and they realize that they didn't get to spend the time that they wanted to spend with those loved ones. Or, people sort of fall out of their lives because they've been in this pursuit of this shiny object and they haven't fostered their relationships. So my message and the whole point of this video is to identify what actually matters to you in your life. What is it that you love to do, and who do you want to spend your life with? Who do you want to spend your time with now? Not in 20 years, but now. Who do you want to spend your time with? Who do you want to be surrounded with? And I think a great question to ask yourself is, if you did have hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank and you never had to work another day in your life, what would your day-to-day life look like? I'm not saying like, what vacation would you go on or what would you buy? I'm saying, what would you be doing that you love to do? And who would you be spending your time with? Because if you can achieve that, if you can achieve doing what you love on a day-to-day basis and spending time with the people that you love, you're a millionaire in my eyes. You're a very wealthy person in my eyes. So that's the main point of this video, man, is just stop chasing shiny things just because marketing and advertising and other people in your life say that you should do something. It's all bullshit. You need to know what matters to you in life. And in my opinion, what matters most is to do what you love and to be surrounded and spend time with the people that you love. And everything else at the end of the day is just nonsense. It's all nonsense. It's all shiny shit. And frankly, a lot of people are just chasing things out of a place of insecurity. They don't feel like they're good enough. So they feel like they need to make more money. They feel like they need to work more. They feel like they need to buy more houses. They need to get more cars, or, and it's all just vanity. It's all fake. It's not lasting happiness. So you have to understand that the time that you have right now in your life, whatever age that you are, your time is your most valuable asset. So time spent with the people that you love and time spent doing the things that you love it's priceless. There's no amount of money that can buy back the time that you spent with the people that you love, doing the things that you love. And that is the thing that should be prioritized in your life. So your homework is to ask yourself the question, if I had hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, what would my day-to-day life look like? What would I do? And who would I be spending my time with? Who would I be surrounded by? And become clear on that. This will save you from chasing things that other people tell you to chase that don't really matter to you. Okay, just like that American businessman in the story was trying to get this Mexican fisherman to chase this idea of making millions and millions of dollars in this whole quest, just so that he can get back to where he already is, right? This Mexican fisherman was already living the life that he desired to live, right? Because he was doing what he loved and he was spending time with the people that he loved most. So he was wealthy. So that is my message for this video. Ask yourself the question, what would you do if you had never had to worry about money again on a day-to-day basis? What would you do that you love? And who would you be surrounded with? Who would you be spending your time with? Paint out the picture of your ideal day-to-day life, and you'll find that you do not need millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to live a fulfilling life. Thank you.